Hey guys, Tom here from the Doctors Collective. Now, if you're a doctor in business, I want to talk about the number one killer for doctors in business. And in fact, it applies to any entrepreneur, anybody in business. And I'll talk about the antidote to it as well. Now, before we jump into that, if you like what you hear here today and you want to get a bit more help from us and some personalized attention and some guidance, click the link around this video, wherever it is on the whatever platform you're using, or send us a message and we can have a conversation. But let's jump into it. Let's talk about the number one killer in business for doctors, and what that is something that we're all very familiar with, going through medicine, going through getting in and getting through. And a lot of people really struggle with this, and it's a real big problem in life as well as, most importantly, in business. And what that is perfectionism. Perfectionism, it's terrible, right? And what I mean by perfectionism is waiting till something is perfect before you begin, before you get it out there, before you get started. Waiting till everything is sorted and taken care of and perfectly lined up to prevent any possibility of maybe possibly failing, and then get started. It's never going to happen. There's never going to be a time when things are perfect, all the stars are lined up, and it's perfect for you to begin. And if there is, it's probably too late by that stage. Your competition's beat you to the punch. And I'm not just saying this. I implement this. I don't just implement this with our private clients. I don't just tell them to do it, and I don't just tell you guys to do it. I do it myself as well. So if you have a look through our Facebook page or our YouTube account, and you go back to the start of January and when I started doing these live videos, you're going to see that the quality was pretty crap. I'll be honest with you. The quality of the video, the whole thing was it wasn't particularly good. And I knew that at the time, but I was like, you know what? Screw it. Let's just jump in and get started. Because if I waited till I had the right equipment, all the right stuff, it wouldn't have happened. I wouldn't have figured out what I needed to along the way. And this is what a lot of people miss when they first get started in business. They think they need to get it figured out from the beginning before they can jump in. But what they don't realize is that by getting in, you actually realize what's important, what's not, what you need to be doing. And I'll give you a really good example of this. In one of the other businesses that we run, we help people get into medical schools. We help them through the GAMSAT. And we had a competitor come up. And I mean, there's a new competitor every bloody year. There's every guy and his dog's trying to do a GAMSAT preparation company every year. Most of them don't stick around. Like this one, these guys didn't stick around. So what they did was, I saw them come up and it looked pretty good what they were doing. So I reached out and I said, hey, can we work together? Is there some way that we can collaborate? And what I found out was that these guys had spent 2 years developing their content before they went to the market. 2 years. And once they launched it, they lasted for maybe a year and a half. And the problem with that is they assumed that they knew everything before they started. Because when you're trying to perfect it, it assumes that you know better than your marketplace, than your clients. It assumes that you know better than everything that's going to come up along the way, which is completely false. You don't. And you learn more by getting started, by rolling with it, by doing it, by seeing what works, what doesn't, refining and making it happen. And that way. And so these guys, they didn't know how to sell and market, which was their big problem. And once they had the product out, it wasn't perfect. Right? That's the other thing, because then when you get the feedback that it's not perfect, it was crushing for these guys. They thought that they'd created the most amazing solution to all the problems that people had, and they didn't, because they didn't know what people's problems were, because they hadn't interacted with them through the development of what they were doing. And same thing happened here with these videos, right? I started in January. I started with these things, and the internet connection was bad, and the background was terrible, and the videos, and I didn't have all the little, if I can get it in the right place, the little branding things here. I didn't have that going, but slowly over time it improved, because I realized what the problems were, where I wanted it to go, and how I wanted it to improve. So there it is in action. I'm not just talking the talk, I'm also walking the walk, and I encourage you to do that too. Have a think about the number one thing you've been putting off, waiting till it's perfect. What have you been waiting for to have it perfected and it being amazing before you get it out there? What is that one thing? Have a think about that. And while you do that, I'll tell you about a couple of my previous mentors, Daryl and Andrew Grant. They're an amazing couple they were originally from Queensland. They now live in Thailand. They live an amazing life. And their whole thing was get it going and then test and measure and refine. So that's what I encourage you to do with that number one project that you've got going. Release it, get it out there, and then test and measure and refine. Test to see how things are going, measure the outcomes, and refine it so that you keep on moving forward and keep improving. That's what I keep doing here, and I look forward. I'm curious to see where this adventure of doing these lives takes me next. But I encourage you to do that too. And we do this with all our private clients. And if you want to talk to us a bit more about how we can help you in your business, in your marketing, as a doctor, get in touch with us. Click the link around this video or send us a message and we can have a chat. All the best. Speak to you soon.